The large meeting room fell silent as Captain Susan Miller watched the alien diplomats argue. For 15 hours now, they had been fighting over who would get more resources. Susan sat quietly in her blue uniform, her brown hair pulled back neatly. Next to her, Ambassador William Clark looked tired. His gray suit was wrinkled and dark circles showed under his eyes. "The Vraxians need more fuel for our ships," shouted a tall, blue-skinned alien. His forearms waved in anger. "We protect your trade routes." "The Nolari Collective needs more land," replied a small green creature with large eyes. "Our people are growing too many for our worlds." Susan sighed. These fights happened at every Galactic Confederation meeting now. Humans had joined the Confederation 80 years ago. They were the newest of 17 different alien species who shared the Milky Way galaxy. Even though humans were new, they had quickly become important. Humans were good at solving problems and making peace between different aliens. They could understand how each species thought. But lately, Susan noticed that the aliens seemed to take humans for granted. Ambassador Clark called the meeting leader, a tall purple alien named Zorix. "Can you fix this problem between the Vraxians and Nolari again?" William Clark stood up slowly. Susan could see he was tired of always being the one to solve these fights, but he walked to the front of the room and began talking to both sides. 2 hours later, he had found a solution that both aliens accepted. The meeting ended and everyone left. On their ship, the Harmony, Susan and William sat in the small dining room. Through the window they could see stars streaking by as they traveled faster than light back to Earth. "They use us," William said, quietly drinking his coffee. "Do you see that, Susan?" "Yes," Susan replied. "We solve their problems, but they don't listen when we need help." William nodded. "Humans give more to the Confederation than we get back. Our soldiers keep peace on 20 worlds. Our doctors create medicines that help all species. Our engineers fix their old technology. But when we asked for help with the Mars colony last year, no one came," Susan finished. When they reached Earth, William went straight to the Earth Coalition government. This was the group of 200 people who made decisions for all humans. They met in a glass building in New Geneva, Switzerland. "We need to talk about our place in the Confederation," William told them. He showed them many reports. Jane Foster, the head of Earth's economy, presented her findings. "Humans give the Confederation many resources. We only get back about 30% of what we put in." Admiral Steve Gordon showed military reports. "Our peacekeepers are used 3 times more than any other species' soldiers. We lost 52 people last year keeping aliens from fighting each other." Dr. Olivia Bennett, head of medical research, spoke next. "Our scientists create new medicines that help all species. But the alien companies make all the profit from selling these medicines." For 3 months, the Earth government studied these problems. They sent messages to the Confederation asking for changes. The aliens promised to make things better, but nothing changed. Finally, the Earth Coalition decided to ask all humans what they wanted to do. They held a vote. Every human over 18 years old could answer one question. Should Earth stay in the Galactic Confederation? When the votes were counted, the answer surprised everyone. 72% of humans voted to leave. "I didn't expect that," Susan told William as they watched the results on a screen in the Harmony's control room. "I thought people would be too afraid to leave." William shook his head. "People are tired. We joined the Confederation to be part of something bigger, to learn and grow together with other intelligent life, not to be used." The Earth Coalition spent another month making plans. Then they called Susan and William back to the ship. "We need you to deliver our message to the Confederation," said Maria Chen, the Coalition president. "Earth is leaving the Galactic Confederation. We are not angry. We just need to focus on ourselves for a while." 2 weeks later, Susan stood behind William as he addressed the Confederation Council. All 17 species had representatives in the large circular room. William's voice was calm but firm. "After careful thought, Earth has decided to withdraw from the Galactic Confederation," he announced. The room erupted in shouts and questions. Some aliens seemed angry, others confused. A few looked worried. William raised his hands for quiet. This is not a hostile action. We wish all species peace and success, but humanity must walk its own path now. We will return to our solar system and our nearby colony worlds. We will focus on our own development. This is ridiculous, said the Vraxian representative. Who will solve our disputes? You will, William replied simply. You are all advanced civilizations. You existed long before humans joined the Confederation. You can learn to work together without us. When will this withdrawal happen? Asked Zorix, the council leader. It begins today, William said. All human peacekeepers will return home within 30 days. All human diplomats and workers will leave Confederation worlds within 60 days. We will maintain basic trade for essential items for 6 months while new arrangements are made. As they left the council chamber, Susan noticed many aliens talking in worried groups, but others seemed unconcerned. They think we're making a mistake, she said to William as they walked back to their ship. Maybe we are, William replied. But maybe they're the ones making a mistake by letting us go so easily. I don't think they understand how much they've come to depend on humans. As the Harmony broke orbit and set course for Earth, Susan looked back at the massive Confederation space station. It was shaped like a wheel with 17 spokes, one for each species. Soon, the human section would be empty. Do you think they'll be okay without us? She asked. William looked out at the stars. I don't know, but I do know that sometimes people only value what they had after they lose it. Maybe that's true for aliens, too. Neither of them realized just how quickly things would fall apart once humans walked away. 3 months passed after humans left the Galactic Confederation. On Earth, people adjusted to their new independence. Some missed the excitement of working with aliens. Others were happy to focus on human problems. Most just went about their daily lives, not thinking much about the 17 alien species they had left behind. Greg Patterson sat in his office on the moon, watching screens filled with reports from across the galaxy. Greg was in charge of Earth's observation post. His job was to keep track of what happened in Confederation space now that humans were gone. He was a tall man with dark skin and short gray hair. His small team worked in a dome-shaped building on the edge of the Sea of Tranquility. Sir, you should see this, said Linda Gomez, one of Greg's analysts. She pointed to a screen showing a news report from the Tauran homeworld. Greg walked over and watched as 2 alien diplomats shouted at each other. The Taurans were tall, 4-armed aliens with blue skin. The Firians were short, with orange scales and 3 eyes. They were fighting about trade routes. They've been arguing for 6 days, Linda explained. Usually Ambassador Clark or another human would step in to help them find a solution. But now they have to figure it out themselves, Greg finished. And they're not doing a good job. Over the next week, more reports came in. The Taurans stopped all trade with the Firians. 6 star systems that depended on that trade were now struggling to get needed supplies. Then worse news arrived. On the frontier world Ixion IV, a fight had broken out between 2 alien groups. The Vraxians were mining minerals. The Melosians were farming the land. They had argued about territory for years, but human peacekeepers had always kept them from fighting. Now, without humans to keep the peace, they had started shooting at each other. The Confederation sent Xanthi soldiers to stop the fighting. But the Xanthi had never liked the Melosians because of an old cultural dispute. They took the Vraxians' side and the fighting got worse. Greg compiled all these reports and sent them to the Earth Coalition government. 2 weeks later, he was called to a meeting in New Geneva. The Coalition Council room was a large, simple space with a round table. Windows looked out on the mountains of Switzerland. 20 council members sat around the table with President Maria Chen at the head. Mr. Patterson, said President Chen, tell us what you're seeing out there. Greg stood and touched a control. A hologram appeared above the table, showing a map of Confederation space. Red dots marked places with problems. It's not just the diplomatic issues I reported earlier, Greg explained. The Confederation is having technology problems too. He showed them images of broken-down ships and malfunctioning space stations. For 50 years, humans helped combine different alien technologies. We could see connections that they couldn't. Without our engineers, they're struggling to make their systems work together. Admiral Steve Gordon spoke up. What about their military? Are they maintaining the defense network? The defense network was a system of sensors and weapon platforms built by an ancient alien race. It protected the galaxy from outside threats. Humans had been crucial in understanding and maintaining it. We don't know, Greg admitted. But I'm concerned. The network needs regular maintenance that only humans fully understood how to do. Dr. Olivia Bennett, who had once led the Confederation Medical Exchange, had new information too. My contacts tell me that medical research has almost stopped. The different species can't agree on research priorities anymore. President Chen looked troubled. What about the Confederation's economy? Jane Foster, the economic advisor, pulled up new data. The unified credit system is in trouble. Inflation is rising fast. Without human banking experts managing the system, some species are printing too much money to solve short-term problems. As they discussed these issues, a message arrived from off-world. A small group of humans who had stayed on the neutral, Trading World Centauri Prime sent an urgent report. The message showed crowds of aliens lining up outside the human embassy there. They want us back, said the human ambassador on the recording. Not just officials, but ordinary aliens too. They miss human doctors, engineers, teachers, and artists. They're starting to realize how much we contributed. The council debated what to do. Some members wanted to help the Confederation. Others thought the aliens needed to learn to solve their own problems. If we rush back, nothing will change, said Admiral Gordon. They'll just take us for granted again. But innocent people are suffering, replied Dr. Bennett. Not just aliens, but humans, who still live in Confederation space. President Chen listened to everyone before speaking. We will continue to watch the situation. We will provide humanitarian aid where needed, but we will not rejoin the Confederation unless they agree to treat humans as true equals. Meanwhile, far from Earth, more serious trouble was brewing. In a remote sector of space, an automated monitoring station sent a warning signal. The signal was weak and garbled. No one in the fractured Confederation noticed it. The station had detected unusual activity at the edge of the galaxy. Something was coming, something that the defense network would normally stop. But with parts of the network failing without proper maintenance, gaps had appeared in the galaxy's protection. On a small research base orbiting Jupiter, Dr. Peter Sung picked up the faint signal. He was a quiet man who specialized in detecting and analyzing unusual space phenomena. What he saw on his instruments worried him deeply. This pattern, he said to his assistant, it matches the theoretical signals of the harvesters. The harvesters were a machine intelligence that human scientists had theorized might exist in the galactic core. No one had ever seen them, but ancient alien records hinted at a terrible enemy that appeared every few thousand years. Should we alert the coalition? Asked his assistant. Dr. Sung nodded grimly. Yes, and try to contact our old colleagues in the Confederation too. If I'm right about this, our disagreements with the aliens will soon be the least of our problems. As his message traveled toward Earth, Dr. Sung continued monitoring the strange signals. They were growing stronger. Whatever was coming, it was getting closer. The humans had walked away from the Confederation and the universe was falling into chaos. But a greater threat was approaching, one that might force humans and aliens to work together again, or face extinction. 1 year had passed since humanity left the Galactic Confederation. What started as small problems had grown into major crises. The once united group of 17 alien species was breaking apart. The Xanthi Empire, with their purple skin and 4 eyes, had been the first to leave. They took 12 star systems with them, saying they no longer believed in the Confederation. The blue-skinned Taurans and the orange-scaled Furians, who had been fighting for months, now signed a military agreement against their neighbors. The shared mining operations in the distant Perseus Arm shut down as different species accused each other of stealing resources. Karen Diaz stood in front of the Earth Coalition Council in New Geneva. She was the director of extraterrestrial intelligence, a woman with short black hair and serious eyes. Large screens behind her showed images from across the galaxy. Our long-range scans show military ships gathering along contested borders, Karen reported. The Vraxians have turned on old weapon platforms that were shut down hundreds of years ago. President Maria Chen looked concerned. Are they preparing for war? It looks that way, Karen said. Without humans to help them talk through their problems, they're falling back on threats and force. But political and military troubles were not the only problems. Environmental disasters were happening too. On a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri, the closest star to Earth, a major project to make the planet livable was failing. 5 alien species had worked together on this project, with humans coordinating their different approaches. Now, without that coordination, the carefully balanced work was falling apart. 3 million colonists were in danger. In another part of space, the Nolari sun harvesting stations were producing less power. These massive structures collected energy from stars to power 47 worlds. Human engineers had maintained the BU, complex systems that contained the burning plasma. Their Nolari replacement struggled with the technology that included parts from many alien sources. The council meeting was interrupted when a message arrived from a remote monitoring station in deep space. Dr. Peter Sung's worried face appeared on the main screen. The automated defense network is failing, he said without greeting. My instruments show that 27 outer beacons have gone dark in the past month. The defense network had been built thousands of years ago by a species known as the predecessors, who had disappeared long before humans reached the stars. The network protected the galaxy from outside threats. Only humans had figured out how to properly maintain it. Alan Rogers, who used to work with the network, stood up. He was an older man with white hair and a lined face. Without maintenance, the whole network could stop working within 2 years. That's not all, Dr. Sung continued. I've detected unusual quantum signals from the galactic core. They match the patterns we've theorized would come from the harvesters. The room went quiet. The harvesters were a machine intelligence that old alien records warned about. They appeared every few thousand years to gather resources from living worlds, including the people who lived on them. Have you warned the Confederation? Asked President Chen. Dr. Sung nodded. I sent messages to all my former colleagues, but they're dealing with so many crises right now, I don't think they're taking the threat seriously. For the next several days, the Earth Coalition debated what to do. Some people felt that humanity should help their former allies. Others believed the aliens needed to learn to solve their own problems. If we rush back to fix everything, nothing will change, said Admiral Steve Gordon. They'll just expect us to solve all their problems again. But if the harvesters are real, this affects us too, Dr. Olivia Bennett argued. No single species can stand against them alone. From their solar system, humans watched as their former allies continued to fight among themselves. More concerning were reports of strange ship movements at the edge of explored space. 15 colony worlds went silent, with no explanation for why they stopped communicating. Dr. Sung's team worked day and night analyzing the signals from the galactic core. The pattern is getting stronger, he reported. Whatever is coming, it's getting closer. Then something happened that forced a decision. A damaged alien ship entered the solar system, barely avoiding Earth's defense systems. It was a small Firian scout vessel, its hull scorched by weapon fire. Inside was Ambassador Thala, one of the few Confederation officials who had always treated humans as equals. Thala was brought to the Coalition headquarters in New Geneva. The small, orange-scaled alien looked thin and tired. I came to warn you, Thala said to President Chen and the gathered council. The defense network has failed in the outer regions. Something is attacking our worlds one by one. The harvesters? Asked Dr. Sung. Thala nodded. Yes, they are a machine intelligence that comes from the galactic core. They strip planets of resources and process all organic life into energy. Without the defense network, we have no protection. Why come to us? Asked Admiral Gordon. The Confederation has ships and weapons. The Confederation barely exists anymore, Thala replied sadly. We've broken into separate groups, each trying to defend only their own worlds. We were arrogant. We never realized how important humans were. Not just as peacemakers, but as the connection between our different ways of thinking about science, government, and war. As they spoke, Earth's long-range sensors detected unusual activity near Sirius, a bright star just 8.6 light-years away. The pattern matched what Dr. Sung had identified as harvester ships. "They're coming here next," said Karen Diaz, showing the sensor readings. "They'll reach our colony on Sirius B in less than a month." Admiral Laura Fields, who commanded Earth's defense forces, gave her assessment to the Council. "We can't fight this enemy alone," she said firmly, "and neither can the former Confederation species if they stay divided. Our only hope is to work together." After hours of debate, the Earth Coalition reached a decision. They would contact all 17 species, proposing a new alliance. Not the old Confederation, but something new, built on true equality and mutual respect. While Earth's diplomats began reaching out to former allies and enemies alike, scientists and engineers started developing weapons to fight the harvester technology. For the first time, all of humanity's creative energy focused on a single goal: survival. In orbit around Jupiter, Earth's largest military ship prepared to lead the first attack against the approaching harvester scouts. The ship was called the Defiance. Its captain, John Rivera, spoke to his nervous crew over the ship's communication system. "We're not just fighting for Earth now," he said. "We're fighting for all intelligent life in the galaxy. Humans walked away once. Now we're walking back, but this time as true equals in the fight against extinction." 6 months of hard fighting pushed back the first wave of harvester ships, but at a terrible cost. 3 human colony worlds were lost. The former Confederation species had suffered even worse before joining the new alliance with Earth. Captain John Rivera stood on the bridge of his ship, the Defiance. Through the large front window, he could see the remains of a battle near the planet Sirius B. Broken ships floated in space. Some were human vessels. Others belonged to their new allies. Many more were the black spider-like ships of the harvesters. "Damage report," John said to his crew. "Shields at 40%, replied Sam Wilson, his first officer. "Weapons still working, but we're low on power." John nodded. His ship had been fighting for 3 days straight. The crew was tired, but they had won this battle. The colony on Sirius B was safe for now. A message came in from Earth. Admiral Laura Fields appeared on the main screen. She was the commander of all human military forces, a strong woman with gray hair and a determined face. "Good work, Captain," she said. "Your team saved 10,000 colonists." "Thank you, Admiral," John replied. "But the harvesters will be back. They seem to be learning from each battle." "That's why I'm calling," Laura said. "We need you to bring the Defiance back to Earth immediately. Something big is happening." 2 days later, John's ship arrived in Earth orbit. He took a shuttle down to New Geneva, where a special meeting was taking place. In a large, round building with a glass dome, representatives from all 17 species of the former Confederation had gathered. This was not the old Confederation. This was something new, the Galactic Defense Coalition. Under the new agreement, each species had equal voting rights and leadership rotated between all members. No one species could control the others. John found Admiral Fields in the crowded room. "What's happening?" he asked. "A turning point," she replied. "The harvester attacks forced everyone to rethink how we work together. When you're fighting for survival, old arguments don't seem so important." President Maria Chen stood on a raised platform in the center of the room. Next to her were leaders from each alien species, including Ambassador Thala from the Firians. "For centuries, the species of this galaxy lived separately," President Chen said. "Then we formed the Confederation, but it was never a true partnership. Some species had more power than others. Humans left because we were not treated as equals." She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of alien diplomats. "Now we face extinction together. The harvesters do not care what species we are. They see all organic life as resources to be harvested. We must stand together as equals, or we will fall separately." Ambassador Thala stepped forward. "We were wrong to take humans for granted. Their unique way of thinking bridged the gaps between our different species. Without them, we could not maintain our technology, our economy, or our peace. The meeting went on for hours as they discussed plans to fight the harvesters. Each species would contribute according to their abilities. Humans would coordinate. The military response using their talent for creative thinking and adaptability. After the meeting, John was given a new assignment. His ship, the Defiance, would be the first of a new class of vessel that combined technology from all species. Engineers from Earth and alien worlds were already working together in the shipyards of Mars. John visited the Mars shipyards the next day. He was amazed at what he saw. Human engineers worked alongside blue-skinned Taurans and purple Xanthi. They were building ships more powerful than any single species could design alone. "This is incredible," John said to Sam Wilson as they toured the facility. A year ago, these species were barely talking to each other. "Nothing unites people like a common enemy," Sam replied. "Or aliens, I guess." In orbital laboratories above Earth, human scientists worked with their alien counterparts to develop new weapons. Dr. Olivia Bennett led a team that included Tauran physicists and human theorists. They were creating weapons that could disrupt the Harvester's quantum networks. "The Taurans see patterns in physics that we miss," Dr. Bennett explained to her team, "and we see connections they don't. Together, we can solve problems neither of us could handle alone." For the next 2 years, the coalition forces fought the Harvesters across dozens of star systems. They lost some battles but won more. Slowly, they pushed the machine intelligence back toward the galactic core. Dr. Bennett's team made a breakthrough in the 3rd year of fighting. They discovered a way to interface human brains directly with defense systems using Nolari biochemistry, combined with human brain mapping techniques. This new technology gave coalition ships a critical advantage, allowing them to react much faster in battle. John Rivera was one of the first captains to use the new interface on the Defiance. "It's like the ship becomes part of your body," he explained to Admiral Fields. "You think, and it responds instantly." With this advantage, the coalition planned its final attack. A combined fleet of over 2,000 ships gathered at the edge of the galactic core. John's Defiance was part of the front line. The fleet included vessels from all 17 species, each bringing unique strengths to the battle. "This is it," John told his crew as they prepared to jump to light speed. "We've been fighting for 3 years. We've lost friends, family, and entire worlds. But today we take the fight to the Harvester's home territory." The crew was nervous, but determined. They had trained together, fought together, and some had died together. Human officers worked alongside alien specialists. What had once seemed strange was now normal. Different species working as one team. "The Harvesters thought they could divide and conquer us," John continued. "They attacked when we were at our weakest, after the Confederation fell apart. But they didn't count on us coming back together even stronger." The main screen showed hundreds of ships moving into formation. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in the galaxy's history. "Jump in 60 seconds, announced Sam Wilson. John took a deep breath and activated the neural interface. He felt his consciousness expand to encompass the entire ship. Through the fleet network, he could sense the other captains doing the same. "For Earth," he said quietly. "For all worlds." The fleet jumped to light speed, heading toward the final battle at the edge of the galactic core. No one knew what would happen. But for the first time, all 17 species fought as true allies, equal partners in the struggle for survival. The battle at the edge of the galactic core lasted 17 days. It was the largest and longest space battle in known history. The coalition lost many ships and brave people of all species, but in the end, they won. The Harvester threat was destroyed. Captain John Rivera stood on the observation deck of the Defiance. His ship had survived, though it was badly damaged. Through the window, he could see hundreds of coalition vessels. Some drifted with damaged engines. Others were helping rescue survivors from broken ships. In the distance, the galactic core glowed with beautiful purple and blue light. "We did it," said Sam Wilson, standing next to him. Sam looked tired. His uniform was dirty, and a bandage covered a burn on his arm. "We actually did it." John nodded. "Yes, but the cost was high." Reports came in from across the galaxy. 22 worlds had been lost to the Harvesters. Billions of people of all Species had died, but many more had been saved by the combined efforts of the coalition. 1 month later, a special meeting was held on a space station orbiting Tau Ceti, a star that all species considered neutral ground. Representatives from all 17 species gathered to decide what would happen next. President Maria Chen spoke for Earth. We formed the Galactic Defense Coalition to fight the Harvesters. Now that threat is gone. We must decide if we stay together or go our separate ways again. The room was quiet as the alien leaders considered this question. The blue-skinned Tauran leader was the first to speak. Before humans left the Confederation, we took them for granted. We used their skills but did not treat them as equals. When they walked away, everything fell apart. The Vraxian representative nodded his four-armed body. Then the Harvesters came and nearly destroyed us all. Only by working together as true partners did we survive. We should not return to the old ways, said the Xanthi leader, her purple skin reflecting the room's lights. We should build something better. For 3 days they talked and planned. When they finished, they had created a new agreement. The Galactic Coalition would replace both the old Confederation and the Defense Coalition. Under the new system, each species would have equal voting rights. Leadership would rotate between all members. Resources would be shared fairly, based on what each species contributed. On the 5th anniversary of the Harvester defeat, a special monument was built on neutral ground. It was a simple stone tower with writing in 17 languages. The human words read, "Division nearly destroyed us. Unity saved us all." Admiral Laura Fields, now retired, stood with representatives from all species as the monument was dedicated. "Today we remember those we lost," she said, "and we celebrate what we are, built together from the ruins of the old Confederation." In the shipyards of Mars, human and alien engineers continued to work together. They were not building warships anymore. Now they created vessels for exploration, science, and trade. Vraxian metallurgists worked with human engineers to build ships stronger and faster than either could design alone. In orbital laboratories, Dr. Olivia Bennett led a team of scientists from multiple species. The neural interface technology they had created for war was now being adapted to help people with injuries and disabilities. The same technology that had linked pilots to their ships could now help paralyzed people walk again. "This is the true purpose of cooperation," Dr. Bennett told her team. "Not just to survive, but to make life better for everyone." Earth's universities now had students from all 17 species. Alien art hung in human museums. Human music played in alien homes. What had once seemed strange and foreign was becoming familiar and valued. In a classroom in New Geneva, a human teacher named Lisa Cooper taught a group of children. Some were human. Others had blue skin, purple fur, or scaled bodies. They sat together learning about the history of the galaxy. "Before the Harvester War," Lisa explained, "humans left the Galactic Confederation because we were not treated as equals. This led to a time of trouble that we now call the Necessary Crisis." A small Xanthi child raised her hand. "Teacher, why was it necessary?" Lisa smiled. "Because sometimes things need to break before they can be rebuilt better. The old Confederation was not working. It took our leaving, and then the Harvester threat, for everyone to understand that true cooperation means treating all beings with respect." On the bridge of a new exploration ship, Captain Susan Miller prepared for its first voyage. Like John Rivera's Defiance years earlier, her ship combined technology from all coalition species. But unlike the Defiance, this vessel was built for peace, not war. The ship was called Unity. Its mission was to explore beyond the edges of known space, seeking new worlds and perhaps new intelligent species to join the coalition. "Ready for jump to light speed," said her first officer, a young Tauran named Zoral. Susan looked at her bridge crew. Humans worked alongside aliens of various species. They were not just colleagues, but friends. 10 years ago, I sat and watched the Confederation fall apart, Susan said. "I never imagined we would build something so much better from its ruins." She gave the command, and the Unity jumped to light speed, heading toward the unknown. Behind it, the Galactic Coalition continued. to grow and prosper. In the centuries that followed, the coalition expanded to include dozens more species. Each brought unique perspectives and abilities. The brief time of chaos caused by humanity's withdrawal became a small chapter in a much larger story of cooperation and growth. Captain Susan Miller wrote in her personal log, "Humans didn't save the galaxy by staying when we were not valued. We saved it by walking away and then returning on new terms. Sometimes you have to leave for others to recognize your true worth, and sometimes a little chaos is necessary to build a better future."